Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. You know, you can call a lot of programs and they'll give you hope and help in life's easiest places. We try to do it in life's hardest places. That's just why we're here. And to help me do that, Dr. Jill Hubbard and Alice Benton. Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good. I'm good. Alice?
Yeah.
Well, I just came from a tough math session with my 7-year-old. So
Yeah.
I want to share some quick encouragement for
Okay.
those homeschooling parents. For the high-achieving parents, I want to give you permission to just do your best. We were thrust into homeschooling, and it wasn't our setup, it wasn't our plan. And I think a lot of us parents feel like we have to get it all done and better than our best. But I think we got to back it down to give yourself permission to do your best. Stop, drop, and pray. My little boy's frustration got to such a high point this morning, and we were both going to tip over the frustration point. We just stopped and we prayed right in that moment, brought the temperature right down in the room. And the last one, naps are not a luxury, they're essential. And I'm talking about for us parents. My husband had to take like a 3-hour nap yesterday to catch up.
Well, the other thing, the other thing is a lot of people think that recess is for children. That is not true. They're for teachers. And that has some benefit for kids. And so give yourself a break, and you need a teacher's lounge. You need to get away.
Yeah, I like that.
And I remember Mrs. Klein in the 9th grade. She was my favorite teacher. She didn't go to the teacher's lounge. She went to the janitor's closet and smoked in there. We all knew she was doing that. So anyway, I love teaching. I have a lifetime teaching certificate in the state of Texas. So if things don't go well here, I'm moving and I'm teaching your children. But anyway, it is not
So we can
easy.
send ours to you, Steve.
Yeah. Hey, I would love it. I had the best time ever teaching 5th grade. But God had a couple other things in mind. Here we are, and we're going to do the best that we can. To that end, I'm going to go to Dawn. She's been holding on from another program. Dawn, WRGN is the station. Welcome to New Life Live. How are you today? What's going on in your life?
Hi. Well, I'm a little stressed because my daughter-in-law was admitted for the 9th time in a rehab. The problem is she doesn't want to stay. Everybody but us wants her on medication. I had 6 people die of cancer, medical protocol. I have a husband now that cured himself without ever going to doctor of cancer and dementia, but it's because of natural nutrients to feed the body, but it costs money. It costs money to do, and she'd like to do that. We just can't afford to do it for her right now. But is it possible, like if people are on street drugs, they go to rehabs to get off of it? So is it possible, because a psychologist told her this is eating her brain, these drugs are eating her brain, and I know for a fact that it works at first, but then the body gets used to it, and you have to put more and more. They up the doses more and more, and that's critical to the body. We have enough toxins.
What kind of medication are you talking about? What is her diagnosis that you've heard about?
Bipolar, but we think it's more schizophrenic. Her personality can change. You never know when she calls what mood she'll be in. So it's
So she's not been formally diagnosed as schizoaffective, or she's not been formally diagnosed like with schizoaffective, but she has been with bipolar.
With bipolar.
Okay, because bipolar can also have psychotic episodes.
Yeah. Okay, I think you've called the right place, Dawn. I think you called the right place. So we're going to give you some help right after this, all right? You hold on. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. We're on Facebook Live. You can see us there. And we want to help you. We're going to do that right after this. We'll be back with more of New Life Live. Glad you're with us.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Dawn, how you doing? You still there?
Okay. Yes.
So, if I were you, and I got advice from somebody that just only believed in traditional medicine, I might be suspicious of that advice. But I want you to talk to Jill, because she's not typical in any way, fashion certainly, but when it comes to this, I think she's got some credibility for you that other people might not have in your world.
Well, Dawn, I guess because I do believe in the natural route, and I go to a natural path, and I have people in my family who have studied to be naturopaths and have tried it with cancer treatment and different things. So I wholeheartedly believe in it. However, I have also worked in this field a long time, and with certain disorders, there are certain medications that have proven to be effective and that have, that work on the brain in such a way to supply the chemicals and rebuild the chemicals that are missing for a person and to bring a person back to stabilization. Bipolar is one of those disorders where it really is, a biological disorder that needs the proper medication. And I have never known supplements alone to really be able to effectively augment that. So if I'm wrong, I'm willing to hear, information on that. But I think oftentimes, if you can find a doctor that's willing to do kind of both methods, regular Western medication or medicine along with adding in some of the more natural routes, that can be a wonderful combination. But I think it's really important because the thing with bipolar is it needs to be consistent and stable. And people with bipolar, you're talking about her inconsistencies. They don't like medication, right? Because as we've talked about with other people, because it may, it brings their emotional level down into a normal range, and instead of it being outside of those ranges. And so you lose some of the fun aspects of bipolar by being in the normal ranges. So sometimes they can feel a little...
It makes her comatose, and it makes her gain a lot of weight.
Okay, so that's not good, and that isn't necessarily normal, okay? So that would be working with a doctor to see what's going on there with her metabolism in terms of the medication. I mean, gaining some weight may be part of it, but not necessarily. I know lots of people with bipolar that don't gain a ton of weight. So that would be something to look into.
Yeah, I would say this. Rather than move her away from medication, I would be trying to move her toward the best professional that you could find. That because, as Jill said, that isn't typical of what we hear. Comatose and gains too much weight.
No, that's not an optimal way of living, right?
No. Now, I walked to go to work at my first psych hospital, 1977. And I have a daughter that has never had red meat or pork, and I take anywhere from, I don't know, probably 20, 30 supplements a day. I mean, you're not talking about somebody that just thinks medicine is the answer to everything. But I hope you could hear this, Dawn. In my history, working with psych and alcohol and drugs since 77, I've never known one bipolar person that ever benefited from just natural stuff. There is medicine, and it keeps getting better and better to help them function. And I would simply say this: I think it's not a medicine problem. I think you've got to have the kind of professional that is up to date on every new medicine and willing to try it for her. That's just my 2 cents, and I'll turn it over to Alice for what she's thinking here.
Dawn, what's your
She's
daughter?
been on trial medicine for all these years.
But if she's
for many,
also
many
if
years.
she's also been using substances 9 times in
Yeah,
rehab,
yeah.
it really muddies the water of what the
Yeah.
medication's actually doing for her.
Right.
Dawn, what is her main drug of choice?
I really don't know the drugs. I really don't know.
I think that's important too,
Yeah,
because
'cause she's
sometimes
self-medicating.
Yes, exactly. We choose a street drug because it can treat the mental health issues that
Right.
we have. Does it poorly, but in the short term, it can certainly feel like relief. So I'd also question if she is properly diagnosed. If the medication that fits for the diagnosis is not working, you can either look at different kinds of medication or talk with another psychologist or psychiatrist who can evaluate her again, especially if she can get some sobriety under her belt. When I was working in rehab, we couldn't give a proper diagnosis that would stick. We called it a provisional diagnosis until folks had 60, 90 days of sobriety under their belt, because all those symptoms were so mixed up with the symptoms of withdrawal and the symptoms of having used substances. So look into those couple of different things there. And also, I wanted to add that if she's dealing with bipolar and some delusions or hallucinations, you were talking about possibly schizophrenic symptoms and substance use, she's up against way too much to not receive the support of medication. So maybe in the long run, once she's stabilized and sober for a good long time, then perhaps the medications can be eased and balanced with natural supplements. But now is not the time. This girl needs as much support and help as she can get to maintain that sobriety and find out who she is when she's sober long term.
Yeah, when you talk about you never know who you're going to get, that to me sounds like an addict right there,
Well,
right?
that's what I wanted to say. And this is tough to hear. But Dawn, you're not just up against your daughter. There is this thing.
Daughter-in-law, yeah.
Your daughter-in-law. There's this thing that is powerful. It eats everything in its way, destroys everything, and learns how to push buttons and manipulate in ways you don't. And it's called addiction, and it's a thing in and of itself. And it is not beyond your daughter-in-law to know that you're the natural person, and she takes that, and the addiction in her takes that and uses that to enable her to get, or the addiction to get what it wants, and that's any drug other than the drug that can treat her. And whereas a drug that you get off of the street might be eating your brain, the drugs that treat what we're talking about don't
They don't eat your brain.
No, they don't. But she could sure convince you of that, because that's kind of your thing that you've latched onto with her, and she'll use that, or the addiction in and of itself will. I could not encourage more for you, son, anybody in her path to get involved in Al-Anon and
please.
read some stuff. I'm going to send Take Your Life Back, because that's it's a codependency manual. But you really need to educate yourself in the ways of the addict manipulating. And this dual diagnosis, she really would benefit from treatment where they specialize in dual diagnosis patients. And that's what I would be hoping for her. If anybody else is struggling, you call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll try to find you the best place possible. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Let's go to Crystal. Yakima, Washington is where she's calling from. Hi, Crystal. How are you today? What's going on?
Well, I have a daughter. She's 20 years old. She's going to be 21 here soon.
Okay.
And she's still living at home. She's graduated high school. We got her to do that. She was born 6 weeks early. And when she was little, she used to talk to everybody. I used to call her my little politician. And then about 10 years old, she just kind of drew into her. And she started talking about seeing shiny people and stuff. And they diagnosed her with Asperger's. And she was reading by herself when she was 4 years old. So she was reading college level in 5th grade.
That's
and
incredible.
in 5th grade, the teachers, because she wouldn't do her math, started putting her in a closet half of the week at school.
What?
Until I found out about it.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't do her math work, because she didn't, her brain just doesn't get math.
Sure.
She gets all the reading and she gets visual cues from pictures and stuff like that, but she just doesn't process numbers at all. So they started putting her in the closet, and we took her out of school, the traditional school, a year and a half into high school because she was just failing for 4.5 years. And we put
How's
her
she
in
doing
the
in college?
alternative school. She didn't go to college. She won't go to college. She says they'll only teach her what they want her to know and not their best techniques, because then she'd be competition. But she mentioned maybe going to school for art, but because she really is a really talented artist.
All right. So what's the question for us then?
How do I help her to get independent and get out? Because she's afraid of people because she's been bullied. And so she has anxieties with people. She worked last year down at the Cherry Warehouse, and the people were just so mean to her that it was hard to keep her there until the end of the season.
What kind of counselor? What kind of counselor is she seeing?
None.
Well, she has to.
And
Yeah, and you know what,
She has
Crystal?
to.
she's a counselor, but the counselor thinks that her way of thinking is just fine, because she doesn't even want to be a male or female. She just wants to be just
Crystal?
her, you know.
Crystal.
Yeah.
She has to have a counselor. She has to have therapy.
She
in
needs
this
some
kind of situation.
Yeah.
And there's a thing that I call the fatal excuse. And the fatal excuse is whatever she says that you buy into. And the fatal excuse could be, oh, we went to a therapist and she thinks she's fine and all of this. Doesn't matter. She needs to go to somebody that has dealt with Asperger's, understands the condition, sees the benefits and the positive aspects of it.
For that, we've been fighting for Social Security disability since we found out that she had Asperger's, and they keep fighting us. We're not getting any help.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any medical.
Okay.
She doesn't get any money. We support her.
Okay. So let's talk about what's available to her if you don't have money for all options. Alice, you want
Go
to
ahead.
start with that?
Crystal,
Because we both work at a gas station. We're just gas station attendants
I understand.
trying to live day to
I
day.
understand.
Crystal,
Yeah.
you all have been up against so much, and we hear those tears at the edges of your voice. You are just overwhelmed, and you're grieving that your daughter keeps getting mistreated over and over and over again. You must feel powerless to protect her. So
Well, that's why I was a stay-at-home mom until she was 12. And I hated going back to work. And I enjoy this quarantine.
Well, I think being able to access that grief and to grieve with some peers who can be safe for you and can hear you out, I think your grief might keep you stuck, and it might make it a little cloudy for you in trying to figure out what your daughter needs and what you can push her to do versus how much you have to protect her and shelter her. Does that fit for you?
Well, I just don't know who to even talk to because I have a really big issue with trust for myself.
Okay, so let me talk to you for a little bit, all right? So, so when a person doesn't have all of the resources that everybody else, has, then you have to do some creative things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, for instance, Pacific Northwest University of Health Sciences. You call them up. Here's my daughter. Do you think that you could help her? And perhaps they've got a program that she could be in where not only are people very astute, but they're training folks. And so she could be part of that and make some progress and have connection with people that would understand what she's going through.
Okay.
That's one thing.
That,
There's a MedX Northwest Physician Assist program near you. There's another one. You've got Central Washington University that's near you. You call these places. You say, here's my situation. What do you have that could benefit my daughter? That's what we have to. We have to get creative when we don't have all the finances we need.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn. We're just finishing up here with Crystal, and you had something you wanted to say there, Alice.
Well, Crystal, I think your daughter is still dealing with some of the symptoms of the trauma that she went through. That kind of bullying, especially if it was at the hands of teachers and then later also at peers over and over again, it could really complicate her ability to gain independence. I think she needs some trauma treatment, and I think that would serve her. Two additional resources I want to add to what Steve said. We have regional centers here in California. I don't know if it's called the same thing in Washington, but look it up because I think you'll find it easily. And United Way 211 gives all kinds of resources right there in the area. It's free to call, and they can really link you up with things that would fit your price range that you can afford.
Yeah, and I think we were also wondering too, this came on at age 10, what else happened around that time or prior to that time to cause such a shift, to cause you to go and even have her diagnosed? And that's kind of maybe some of the trauma that you're talking about, what else is there?
In the Adventist school through 4th grade, and then her teacher there was having trouble because she was taking her mechanical pencil apart and putting it back together instead of doing her work. And she was drawing in the margins of her homework.
Okay, so Crystal, there's a lot of focus from you of what happened back then, and I'd really love to see that shift to what could happen now. And rather than blame or just relive all those moments over and over again, which are absolutely unacceptable, being lost in a closet, all this stuff. But if you can stop talking about it and focusing on it and start making the focus, here's what we can do, here's what we're going to do. And I think that's what your call was. The intent in calling us was that. I think there's hope here. As I was telling them, if my child had a disorder, Asperger's would be the one that I would kind of want it to be that over some others, because there is tremendous hope if you get the right help. And maybe some of these institutions, universities, colleges in your area could help you.
Well, yeah, and they're making great advances with helping kids learn socialization, right? That's something that can be taught, and they are delightful people, right?
Yeah. All right, let's go to Ellen, Fairfax, Virginia. WAVA is the station there. Ellen, how are you today? What's going on in your life?
Hi there, I'm fine, thank you. I wanted to ask about whether my husband and I should right now tell our 12-year-old son and our 10-year-old daughter about my husband's past homosexual life, so to speak, which happened while we were married. It happened for about 5 years, and I didn't know about it, but I found out about it a couple of years ago, and we haven't wanted to tell the kids, but today, actually, he told our kids about his adultery and about his drinking.
Why did he do that? What was he thinking?
We told him because he honestly wanted out of the marriage. Now he wants to stay in, and so they've been seeing tension, and they've been wanting to know what's going on with you guys. And he talked with my family, who we just now finally told after all these years, and they said, please tell your kids that at least you're going through something. My parents actually want him to even tell the part about the homosexuality because they're afraid he's going to start living out lies again, because he had a lot of lies all these years. So we basically want to know, should we tell our two kids about his past homosexual life, and he's no longer dealing with that? Should the kids know? My parents think that the kids have to know.
Your kids are 12 and 10.
10 and 12.
10
yes.
and 12.
Yes.
Okay, so Jill, Alice, you can start there, and then I'll finish.
Ellen, I do think it's important that children of your children's age get some explanation for what they definitely sense is going on between their parents. But I think giving headlines versus details is also important to protect them. I don't think that they should know details about with whom he had adulterous affairs, but they should know, and really, I'd really lean heavily on what he's done to get help, the progress that has been made, how much it's not their fault at all, how much he loves them and will always be there for them no matter what. And any united front you and your husband can give on this, it sounds like he kind of told them maybe more on his own, or at least he took the main lead. But if you can show them as much of a united front as possible, it eases their fears, and they go more quickly to it being their fault that there's tension between parents. So that's what you want to address that heavily.
And let me just say this so that no one is confused. Telling a 10-year-old child that mommy and I are having difficulty, and the tension that you feel has nothing to do with you, it's us. There's nothing you did to cause it. There's nothing you could do to make it go away. Those are all great things to tell a 10-year-old. To tell a 10-year-old, I have been unfaithful to your mother, is not something you want to do. Now, I got 2 PhDs on the other end, and it's almost like I have a 10-year-old daughter, so I don't care what anybody thinks. For her to hear something like that would devastate her. She wouldn't need to know that. She would just need to know there's a problem. It's not you. It's us, and we're working on it. Sometimes we have to really, before you would make a move like that, to not ask a professional, is this a good idea to tell a 10-year-old child that I've been unfaithful? And then for someone else to think, And let's go ahead and throw in that it was with a man. Oh my goodness.
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change by the end of the day yesterday. Her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relieved.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
It was 11. All right, so we're talking with Ellen. Jill,
so I had some thoughts too. Ellen, I would want you to consider and look at whose need is it for this information to come out, because sometimes it's, as an adult, it's our need to say it and to share it and to have kind of our story be known. And I'm wondering if your husband, on the one hand, that's good that he's wanting to, work through it, but his kids are not the people to work through it with. The kids are still kids, and they need to be protected. And so one thing that's good to follow is you don't tell a child more than they're wanting to know. And even what they're wanting to know, you pair that back to their age level. Like you give them a little and you see if that's enough. So if they're saying it seems like something's going on here, yeah, you acknowledge their reality. There is something going on here. And we're struggling, and kind of like what Steve was spelling out. You give them generalities, and then you reassure them in that it isn't them, but that mom and dad are working on it. And I want you to know that our goal is to stay together as a family. We love the two of you. We want to protect you, and we are working hard to get through, any problems that we've had, any mistakes we've made, we're looking at that. And so you can be confident in that. And so you keep their world intact as much as you possibly can. Now, there are situations where you can't, where maybe the kids are exposed to something, they see something. Yeah, you don't deny reality in the face of concrete evidence, but you want to not over-explain. It's important.
Yeah, so is there anyone that has said to you why they thought it would be a good idea for a 10-year-old to know that dad has had sexual relationship with another man? Anybody? Or maybe what you would think how that would benefit the 10-year-old?
Yeah, my parents, since they just found out about this, they're super disappointed. They actually want me to get a divorce, but I said I really want to work it out with my husband. And they said,
well,
okay,
I think your parents,
I
think their parents have a hidden agenda that's not too hidden. They would like your husband to look as bad as possible. And the 10-year-old would be paying a price for that. So I wouldn't be using my parents as the source of information here or advice, okay? Okay. And I would really be big now. I would be big now on he's gotten help. It's a stage, we're moving on. We're trying to keep this together. And you are a courageous woman, and I commend you
Yes,
you
are.
for that.
And I would be
Great.
checking in with the kids just to say, okay, how are you guys feeling? And check in with them on if they do have questions, are they wanting to talk about anything, and how are they feeling at home with mom and dad after the explanation?
Yeah. All right, Jean, Bethesda, Maryland. WAVA is the station. How are you?
Hi, it's Joan.
Sorry, it is Joan. I see that now. I have a little tiny baby screen. All right, Joan, how are you? What's going on?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm just wondering, what are people doing who have alcohol problems during this pandemic where they cannot attend meetings?
They attend meetings online. And they're either, I've done Zoom recovery meetings, I've done telephone recovery meetings online, and they're actually quite interesting to be a part of. But that's what people are doing.
Yeah, I have a friend who did a whole weekend recovery retreat, 5 hours a day on Zoom, and thought it was great.
People are really praising these new systems too, and saying there are some huge positives to doing it this way versus in person. So a lot of people are benefiting from online meetings.
And when we do Finding Freedom, we might still be online with our meetings, and that would be another thing that you could do, Finding Freedom. So you think that it's you? You think it's the date for Finding Freedom? Let's see if I have it here. It's coming up. But do you think that you might benefit from a meeting or two?
I do.
Well, if you just just Google recovery meetings online or AA meetings online, life recovery meetings, things like that, you could find them. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy to do. And let me send you a Life Recovery Bible. I'll send you the Life Recovery Bible and a workbook to go with it, and I think you'll love that. And I'm really glad you called. And it's one thing to know you have a problem. It's another to want to get some help. And then it's another to stay after it till that help starts to really take hold. And I just encourage you to do that. So God bless you. Love that. I'm glad you called. All right, let's go to Vicki, Dallas, Texas, KWRD. Hi, Vicki.
Hi, Steve. I'm a
How are
supporter
you?
of New Life, and I love your show. I'm not too good. My husband's he's suffering with depression, panic, and anxiety, and he stays in bed 20 hours out of the day.
Oh my goodness, that's so sad. Now,
And I'm
what do
trying
you
to
think?
figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah, what do you think caused it? Any idea there?
I'm not sure, because I think maybe in 2017 our daughter had cancer, stomach cancer, and so I'm wondering if that had something to do with it. He can't really put his finger on what caused it.
Okay. And what has he done to get
what
some
kind of
help
help?
for being there in the bed, struggling?
Okay, he's going to a psychiatrist, and he's on medication, and he's been to a counselor, and the counselor, it was like I was doing all the talking and he wasn't. So I know we need to find another counselor for him to go to without me.
Yeah, that'd be good. Alice, what do you think else would be helpful? Because there is so much help. Sounds like he's willing. You guys are trying to get some help here.
Becky, it must be so unsettling to see your husband in bed practically all day, all night long. How worrisome. And it's great that he's seeing a psychiatrist. I'm delighted to hear that. But I would question if those meds are working for him.
Yeah.
If he's been on them for any amount of time and he's still in bed that long, how long has he been taking the medication?
Well, he adjusts his medication like every month when we see him.
And how many months has
When
he
we
been
see-
seeing this psychiatrist?
Since April of last year.
Has he improved? Have you seen a change with the medication?
Somewhat, but it seems like he's just staying in bed longer and longer and longer.
Yeah,
I used to could talk. Yeah, I used to get him up. If he would get up in the morning, this is what he used to do. Get up in the morning, get his clothes on, and get in the car, and we'd go driving around, go have breakfast or something. It would bring him out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now he won't do it.
I'd really I'd be questioning, Vicki, if those meds are the right meds for him, and if the psychiatrist even knows how bad it is.
Yeah.
Because if your husband's the only one reporting into him and they're just adjusting the medication, it might not be enough. There are a wide variety of medications to try for depression and anxiety, and there are some that just have no effect for some people, why they work really well for others. It's kind of a guessing game, even for psychiatrists to a certain extent. So they have to try different types. But if the psychiatrist doesn't know how bad it is, they wouldn't know to change it enough. So I'd make sure that you get in touch with the psychiatrist to give him the additional information in case your husband isn't, and get the psychiatrist's opinion if they'll give it, if they have the release of information to talk with you. And if not enough changes are made, you might want to see a different psychiatrist if they're not open to this kind of feedback into making bigger changes.
Are you guys part of a church of any kind?
Yes, we go to Lake Point Church in Rockwall. Yes, we do.
What about asking the minister there or the men's ministry leader or volunteer to come visit and try to encourage him in that way from some other men?
Like, does he have does he have any structure in his life that he has to rise to? Like, I don't hear that he works. Is he retired?
No, he doesn't. Yes, he is retired.
And how long has he been retired?
Since 2009.
Okay, so you didn't see this initially in retirement. It sounds like it's just been the last 2 years?
Yes, this is almost 2 years he's been like this.
Okay.
But he's progressively got worse and staying in bed longer.
Right. So he needs some things in his life, some structure that will help him, like having people come over, appointments, things like that he does have to rise to and get out, because that does help to shift things like you've noticed previously. But sounds like he's getting worse. So he's either med resistant and needs to try some alternative meds, it's sounding like, right? So I would really encourage you to not give up, Vicki, because this is someone who needs your help, because it sounds like there's a lot he can't do for himself because he's so depressed. And so he really needs you to help activate things.
Well, I tell you, I wish there was a great men's Bible study where you could drop him off and come back, get him, and he could get some good spiritual encouragement from some other men there. We'll be back after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly. And it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. A really good reminder, if you're getting help and it's not helping, then you got to get different help.
Absolutely.
If you get different help and that doesn't help, well, that's the second one we tried. You get different help. There is a way. There has to be a way. Don't settle for some fatal excuse that could be right on this side of getting a lot of help. Our call board is full, and I only have time for one last call here with Betty, and I am so sorry, but we're going to be right back here tomorrow doing this again. Betty, you're on Pueblo, Colorado. KGFT is the station. How are you today? How could we help you?
I'm doing good, and thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
I have my 15-year-old grandson that's been staying with me for almost 3 weeks because he kind of went after his parents, very angry, threatening, and so over the years he's had real anger issues, and he's been diagnosed with ODD and probably some other things. He's been in therapy. They've taken him to the children's hospital. He's never slept well and various things, but he's been on meds. They worked for a while, didn't, and so I just want to be able to suggest changes that they might be able to make that when he goes back home after this quarantine's over. Because right now he's staying with me because I'm working from home. He can, but I'll have to go back to work eventually.
Is he a problem to you?
No, not at all. He's working and going. Well, the big problem is his grades. He's failing high school, and he tells me that it's because they pressure him for good grades, and of course they want him to succeed.
And what do you say? What do you say to that when he says it's because they pressure me?
Well, I told him that they care about him and they want him to do what he's capable of, his best. And
so his parents pressure him, or the high school?
Well, his parents. The teachers have kind of just basically given up on him because he doesn't seem interested in doing anything. Since he's been here and we've been in quarantine, he has been doing his homework.
Okay.
Where before he was just not turning anything in, and so he'd get bad grades. And
Betty,
I mean, he is a good kid. He's not into drugs or alcohol, and
but he's really angry.
He feels trapped.
He's really angry with his parents.
Yes.
Okay, and have you asked him why he is hurting himself in order to get back at his parents? Because ultimately he's going to leave home and he's going to have his own life. So he's using his parents as an excuse to not better his life. And apart from them, what does he want? Right? It's easy to blame, say, well, because of them, I failed high school. But okay, right now they're removed and he is doing more. And so what does he want for himself? That's, I think, really important to explore with him, and to not, to not kind of go down the path. Say, I know you're upset with your parents, but let's just look at you making decisions for you and you moving, closer to adulthood, because you're 16 now, 18's around the corner, right? And then you have, more to take on as an adult, and how can we get you moving in that direction? So it isn't that you're trapped here with your parents, right? Because that, well, again, I guess I'm just going around the same thing, that they become his excuse instead of seeing their love and care. There's something to push against, and that just keeps him trapped when he pushes against. Go ahead, Steve.
Always a good idea to ask a child that isn't making his grades, why do you think it is that most other kids figure out how to make at least a grade to get out of school? They at least make D's or C's, but somehow you have not found anything to motivate you to do that. What you've landed on are some excuses, but why do you think that you haven't done that? So one is, do you think my mom and dad will always take care of me? My grandmother will take care of me. I don't need to be taken care of. Do you think magically things are going to work out for me? What are you thinking here? Let's try to get to the heart of it. That's a really great conversation to have with him. When he says, well, you know, my parents are pressuring me. No, that's your excuse of not doing the work. But let's look at the real reason that you don't, because you have to overcome those kind of excuses there. Alice, your thoughts?
Betty, do you have any concern that there's something toxic going on between his parents or from his parents to him? He's flourishing with you.
No, I think that they have really worked hard to, I mean, they push him, you know.
But a healthy amount,
and I know
you think?
Capable. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well, it might be a little bit over the top, but they also have asked him, because he keeps telling them that they don't know how to parent him, and so, you know, they've gone to counseling and trying to get help, and they've asked him, so what do we need to do different? And he doesn't have any suggestions.
You, Betty, seem to have some intuitive way of being able to reach him, because you're a rock star, lady. What's happening at your house is working really well for him. I'd have you arrange a meeting with them and with him of look at what's happening, how he's doing so well. Can we talk and figure out what's working well right now so we can help everybody move forward with this better version of how the 16-year-old is? And way to go, being such a great grandma to him and helping him get out of this stuck pattern that he was in.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to send you How We Love Our Kids. I hope there's something helpful in that. We're developing a whole parenting series of these kinds of troubling situations, and so many folks are parenting the grandkids, and they don't, and because of the virus and all sorts of other things. And I'll tell you, just get some help yourself there. Don't try to figure out why it didn't work with the parents that you raised. You know, try to get the best help you can for your grandkids that are living with you. If you think maybe we could help you, we hope we can. You call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. By the way, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. And all month we're offering every resource we can at newlife.com. There are emotional freedom resources, depression, post-traumatic stress, bipolar disorder. All of that is available there. And of course, nothing can help a person who's struggling with lust and sexual addiction, pornography, than getting it taken care of. And we're doing this Saturday is our next Every Man's Battle one-day online video conferencing workshop that, I mean, when we did it last time, it was transformational.
Steve, I have had wives and men who attended raving about the online version and the logistics working so well, and just knowing where he is and what he's doing right there in the other room. It has really helped a lot of marriages already. This is a great version of Every Man's Battle.
It really is. And, you know, if you need some help, you call us. We've got a great gift of any amount. I'll send you one of our New Life perspectives on fear and anxiety. We would be happy to get that to you. Restore, that's coming up in June for women who have been impacted by a man who is in the battle. You call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And you can text to 28950 the words NLM match, and help us to access this $376,000 matching gift that we have. Call us if you need us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.